Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my trophy log series. This is the series where we keep track of our most prized possessions. In the last episode, we managed to catch a roach red trophy on Laudoga Lake. In this episode, we are heading to a new water body, but before we do that, this is the fun spot segment of the video where I try your fishing spots. Today's fun spot is on October River. Since I'm here for the first time, I will grab a map very quickly. Getting to the spot took some time. Boats are extremely slow. From this spot, you can expect to catch wild carp, short-headed barbel, Russian sturgeon and Persian sturgeon. By the way, this fish took me all night to reel in. I caught 6 fish in around 40 minutes or so and made 308 silver. Awesome spot. Thank you guys once again for all the bait donations and all the nice messages. It took me a very long time to put this video together, so there are a lot of donations. Thank you very much once again. Let's see, where will the wheel land this time? Oh right, Old Burg. This is going to be fun. Before we go fishing, this is the bait collection right now. As you can see, we have almost 3.1 million pieces of ecto. Yes, million. That's insane. I will also make some wet bread meanwhile in this episode just to get rid of these 5,000 bread. And yeah, we will see how much wet bread I will be crafting in that time. And I thought I was almost done with grinding wet bread. This is for you, my Patreons. Join the Patreon to support my channel and have access to exclusive content, early access and more. In this episode, I'm going for black carp or common carp trophy on the bottom rig, and if that doesn't work, I will also try to get a pike trophy on the lure. Let's see which one we will actually get. For the hook bait, I will use Cocos and Cream 16 pop-ups with banana 20 pop-ups and banana strike dip. Since we unlocked spot rod, I will also buy a spot rod so I can use this to bait up accurately when carp fishing. I don't think there is a huge difference in these spot rods, so I will get this for tuna spot rod because it looks great and it's not too expensive. We also need a spomb, and the spomb I'm going for is this Feed Bomb L because it holds 10 portions of bait. For the spot rod setup, I will use my Siberia Gold reel with 15 kilo braid. Since we are already at the shop, I want to splash some of my money and buy something from here. I think the bait bucket is a good purchase because we will need it in the future anyways once we unlock harvesting live bait skill. For the dry mix, I have a long list of items I will mix together. So first I have hemp seed base with banana pellets size 7 and 12, cocoa and cream pellets size 5 and 12. For the attractant, I will add banana boilies elixir. For pike, I'm just gonna grab this X-Crank F6006. It's always the fake me. Here you go, mate. So the first spot of this episode I'm fishing at is at 2433. I use clip size 15, hook size 1, and for the bait, cocoa and cream with banana pop-up boilies. The same setup I showed you before. This is quite exciting. I've actually never used the spot rod before, so here we go. Let's make some gains. I will put it to clip 15 and just cast in, and we should have feed the spot accurately. This also gave us another steam achievement, which is very cool. I'm not sure if you should keep your spot rod in, but I think there is really no difference because the bait should be released from the spot and you don't need to keep your spot in. But I'm gonna keep it in for now because I'm lazy. And this is my setup. I'm gonna put in even more bait. I'm not sure if I should do that, but I'm gonna do that. We have our first bite. How exciting. Actually, one of my biggest goals ever on Russian Fishing 4 was to get a carp trophy on Old Burg Lake. I'm not sure why, but this lake, it just is special to me, and getting a big trophy from here is just amazing. Maybe because Old Burg really reminds me of the lakes that we have around here in Estonia, but I don't know. Obviously, we don't have these medieval buildings next to the lakes, but just overall the lake and how it looks and so on, it just feels so similar. But our first fish is a very nice grass carp weighing in at 6.5 kilos. That's a very, very decent fish. Let's see if I can get any more carp during the day. If not, maybe I will go and do a bit of pike fishing. Not sure why, but the carp fishing died down quite a bit. Maybe because it's the daytime, so I will take my caliber reel of my carp rod and put it onto my lure fishing rod. So we can use this to crank out some pike. What a funny button. I think you should click on it to see what it does. The first spot for spin fishing in this episode is at 3232. I will use retrieval speed 30 plus shift, and for the lure I will use X-Crank F6006. So over here I will be doing cranking, or you can call this in many ways like stop and go, walking the dog and so on. So what I will do is I will reel in a bit, maybe like one spoolful or half of a spool, and then stop and then repeat the same process and hopefully get some fish just like we did right now. Even though this pike is very little, hopefully we get some bigger ones soon. No action on the carp rods in the meanwhile. This is giving me PTSD from Fishing Planet because over there you have to fish with stop and go method all the time. Otherwise the bite rate is not that good. And yeah, it makes you go nuts. Fish on, here we go. This is a bit of a better pike, maybe like 2 or 3 kilos. Looks pretty skinny, but it's fairly long, so we have some hope in this fish. Hey, 2.4 kilos is not bad at all for a pike. What a lovely fish. That's worth some silver. When you pike fish, the good thing is, even if your bite rate is pretty bad, but you get some decent fish, they are going to be worth a lot of silver, so you still make a nice sum of money. And we have been snagged. Oh, if this is going to be the theme of this episode, of me getting snagged all the time, I am not liking this. I don't think I will actually get my stuff out. So if you're new to the channel, it's maybe your first video you've seen me doing lure fishing and getting snagged, then if you get snagged, just go to the menu, hold down shift and click on exit game. This will log you out. You can log in right away and you will not be snagged anymore. Well, I relogged and I'm back carp fishing and we actually have a bite, which is very nice. Hopefully it's another nice carp, because last time we only caught it one grass carp and that was it. But this one is spooling me a bit, at least for now. No more. After I pumped up the friction brake, it's still a very decent fish by the looks of it. So let's see if it's going to be the target species or not. It seems like it is a black carp, so that is a target species. Black carp is a rare fish on Old Burg lake, and getting a trophy of this species would be actually pretty crazy. So this is a decent fish, maybe around 10 kilos or so even. Come to the net. Yeah, 7.3 kilos, so not too far off the 10 kilo mark. We take that. Another fish on already. The bite rate was super bad before, but I think it's getting up there right now. If it's getting closer to the afternoon and maybe when it's evening time, but I guess we will see once it's the evening and we have more fish in the keep net. But another black carp. Can't complain. These fish are worth a lot of money and they give loads of EXP. We have not hooked into anything too big right now, but if you're a beginner carp fisherman here on Old Burg with weak gear, make sure your friction brake is set to the point where there is no way that carp will break your rig. If you have a well balanced setup, you can keep it at 29 and you will be golden. You'll be good to go. If your setup is not well balanced, you can get broken off at 29 friction brake. So make sure to test your setup before and keep your friction brake low, maybe at 14 and so on. And once you hook into a fish and the fish is big and it maybe takes some of your line, then you can set it to the max points that you can use, maybe 27, 26 or whatsoever, and yeah, you will not be broken off, not even once. Another fish is on. Actually, the bite rate has gone up slightly, but overall at this spot is not too great, so I might switch this spot soon. But this is our first common carp, a very nice 4.4 kilo common. I would be very happy with this pike in real life, but in this game this is like 3 kilos or so. It is not the best, but still, that's free money. Here we go with some more cash. Not sure what happened, but I just keep getting fish every single cast. This is actually amazing, because before I caught only one pike and I got snagged. Now I've caught like 3 or 4 without getting even snagged. I guess at this spot like 8 to 10 a.m. definitely is a very good time to be here. So let's see if this streak will continue. Another 2 kilo pike. This is definitely the biggest pike I've had so far. This actually did take some on my line for like a second, which is a good sign. This is like a 4 kilo pike maybe. Yeah, 4.5 almost. And we also got some spin fishing percentage. Awesome fish. Every fish that gives me any percentage into any skill is amazing. It's golden. I love it. Well, this is quite odd. We actually caught a chub from this spot, a 2.2 kilo chub, and the chub trophy size is 4 kilos, so this was half the trophy size. Very cool to see different species. It's always fun to catch something else every now and then and not just catch the one species that you're going for. So a little bit of variety makes it more interesting. Definitely my new biggest pike from this spot. This should be 4 or maybe 5 kilos. Yeah, 5.3 kilos. Our biggest before was like 4.5 and this is 5 kilos. Amazing. And yeah, don't look at those fish down below. I forgot to sell them, but as you can see, we caught a lot of pike in quite okay time, I should say, like half an hour. So it's not too bad at all. I'm going to leave this spot because I caught a crucian carp and an eye from this spot, and this is definitely not what I want to get. The next spot of this episode I'm fishing at is at 2167. I use clip size 14, hook size 1, and for the bait, cocoa and cream with banana pop-up boilies, just like at the last spot. So everything's the same, but the spot has changed, and we actually have a very decent fish on right away, which is a very good sign because at the last place we caught nothing too big that was actually spooling us, and also the biggest fish we caught was like 7 kilos, and here the first fish seems to be over 10 kilos at least by the looks of it right now. Okay, the fish is coming in and it seems like a grass carp. Good thing about grass carp is if they are a market fish, they're worth already a lot of cash, and this seems to be like 10 kilos or so, so this is a very good fish for money. Almost 12 kilos. That's, I don't know how many silver, but it's a lot. A tiny common carp, 3.2 kilos. This is the target species. I'm very happy about that. I think we have hooked into another grass carp. By the way, it's moving in the water. Grass carp usually have the zoomies and they fight a bit differently, at least different from the common carp. And it would be pretty crazy if this actually turns out to be a grass carp trophy spot, because grass carp trophy is 28 kilos, which is insanely big. The common carp trophy is only 20 kilos. This is another 9 kilo grass carp, almost 10 kilos. Come on, just take it already. Stop teasing me. It's not gonna take it. It just plays with the bait. It's not taking it. I don't know why. It just keeps nibbling at it, but not wanting to actually take the whole boilie setup. This fish is mad, but he messed up right now. We have the fish on the hook now. Let's reel it in and see what it is. It's nothing too big. Oh, it's another grass carp. Definitely a marker fish. Yeah, 4.4 kilos. That's actually very nice. And let's see what is on the second rod. This could be like crucial gibble even, because it's so tiny. Oh no, it is a common carp at 2.3 kilos. Yeah, that's not the biggest common carp. Well, I guess I should complain more, because now we hooked into something way bigger and I can see just dollar signs right now. It's not a trophy definitely, but it is running a lot and it's going quite far away. I don't want it to get stuck behind the island, so I just walk here to the right side to make sure I have a clear sight on the fish, or at least I can see the fish straight in front of me and not behind the island, because I do not think I could actually drag it over the island and then net it, because it would get stuck behind the island and then I would be ruined. I got no clue what kind of a fish it is. Maybe another grass carp, because I've caught only big grass carp and no big common carp, so my logical thinking says it's another grass carp. Let's see in a second. And it is a grass carp. I thought it would be way bigger because it fought so hard, but it's not that big at all. It's 9.5 kilos. We had a grass carp before that was way bigger and it fought way less. So if some of these fish really have an attitude, I just can't find the spot. Where was my rod before? I just can't find it. Like, please game, just please let me put my rod down. Another tiny grass carp. Grass carp are like the cows of a lake because they eat grass. Like literally you could mow your lawn and take the grass that you mowed, throw it into your pond or a lake, and the grass carp will eat it. They're literally cows, but you can't milk them. If you could milk them, they would be literally cows. Water cows. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I need to stop. I'm going crazy, I think. It was nibbling for so long and the fish is like a kilo. Actually a bit more, like 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos. This thing was nibbling so carefully. Or maybe its mouth wasn't big enough to take the bait. Alright, there is no way there is a 2 kilo grass carp on this rod as well. It has to be something a bit bigger, maybe like 5 kilos or 6 kilos. Yeah, maybe it's even less. Maybe it's like 4, at least by the looks of it. But you never know. Actually 6.2, way bigger than I expected. That's a nice surprise. It's quite odd that I have not caught any carp over like 15 kilos or not even 14 or 13 kilos, and this common carp again super tiny. I wonder why all the common carps have been so little. Like there is no sign of a bigger common carp. I might have to switch my spot up once again to just go and see if I can get something bigger, but this is a very nice black carp, 5 kilos. Bottom fishing percentage, we like that. By the way, I saw the fish for a millisecond and it is a common carp, and we finally have caught a big common carp, or at least a bigger one than the 3 and 4 kilo ones, or even the 2 kilo commons. This should be around 10 kilos, I would say, just by looking at it, by the textures. It was quite a lazy fish. There was no fight really, so it's very nice to just reel it in. We have to net it, and let's see how big of a carp it is. Come on, just get to the inventory. Yeah, 9.2 kilos. Very nice. That 9.2 kilo common carp actually gives me hope. And now it's the time to make some money. Finally, after all of those hours, we made 363 silver. Well, actually it wasn't too bad. It was like 2.5 hours of game time, so nothing too crazy. Well, I go back to the lake, cast my rods in, and boom, there's a beast on the hook. This thing actually has been spooling me for quite some time now, and I'm very happy about that, because this seems to be a very big fish. If it's a common carp, it would be close to the trophy size, I do believe so. If it is a grass carp, I don't think it's anywhere near the trophy size. By the way, once on the Discord, we had a call, an event with some of the guys from my Discord channel, and there was a guy who caught, I think it was like 25 kilo grass carp with a low low level setup on Amber Lake. I'm still surprised he managed to get it in. It looked absolutely massive and the gear was just not good at all, not even for a common carp that's weighing like 10 kilos. So yeah, if you're seeing this right now, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. But now let's get this fish in. It was already actually coming to the shore, but then decided to go away, have a little walk and a picnic at the park. Few more meters to go. Super close. That's a nice fish. That has to be 10 kilo plus. Definitely the strongest fish I've fought so far in this episode. Come on. Yeah, almost 15 kilos. That is a very, very nice grass carp. It's worth a lot of money, it's good EXP, and it gives me hope once again. Something very weird happened. I had 2 ghost bites on the 2 other rods. Like there was something nibbling on the bait, but nothing actually took the bait. Thankfully, I managed to hook this fish on this middle rod, and it's another decent grass carp. It's some money at least. And here's another one. Let's get this fish in very quickly. There is something huge on rod number 3. At least by the looks of it, it seems to be fairly big. And this is another grass carp. 3.8 kilos. Good money. Thankfully, we get them in with this setup so quickly. If you would use your beginner feeder set right now over here, that 3 or 4 kilo grass carp will just go around the lake for like 10 minutes before you get it in. And I really hope this was gonna be a big fish, but it's not that big. But still, 7.5 kilos. Awesome. I really enjoy catching these black carp because they give so much EXP. This one is 7 kilos and it gives 15,000 EXP. That is just madness. Listen to this. You see this? Oh, actually stop now. It's making me look like a fool in front of you guys, but it was fooling me before. See, it did it again. This seems to be another nice grass carp. I do believe so. It's fighting just like a grass carp and it's a big one. Very happy about hooking this because I had no luck in the past day in this game, so everything was quite tiny that I caught, and this is a first fish that's actually decent in a very long time. I haven't switched out my bait, my hook or anything. I'm still using the same setup. I guess this spot just wants you to be patient and it will reward you at the end of it. Let's see if we can get it in from here. It's always nice to walk on the shore and get closer to the fish if the fish is slowly coming in. Oh, it's actually a black carp. Wow, that could be my biggest ever black carp, just saying. This looks huge and I have not caught like a very big black carp before. 17 kilos? That's insane. That could be my PB at 35,000 EXP. I wish Russian Fishing 4 had a PB mark above the fish if you catch your new biggest fish of the species, just like Fishing Planet has. It would be so cool. It would be a great update. But I guess we can also look at the log and see if it was, and yes, it was. It was our biggest ever black carp. Super happy. I guess all the other fish moved out and there's only black carp left because here's another one at 6 kilos. And we have another nibble. I wonder if that's going to be black carp as well. Let's see what's on the rod. Okay, it's a grass carp. It's pretty close to the black carp, but still a bit different. Tiny grass carp. 3.7 kilos, but 777 EXP. That's very cool. I'm calling it. This is it. This is the trophy fish I have been looking for. Now, I just don't know if it will be a grass carp trophy because we caught loads of them here and also some big ones. Same with black carp. 17 kg is not too far off 28 kg. Or a surprise common carp. That would actually be great. It would be a great surprise because so far we had only one big common carp and all the other commons were very tiny. So if it is a common, that's just odd. It would be so odd. But if you look at the way the fish is fighting right now, it has no zoomies. It is fighting like a common carp, which gives me an idea this could be a common carp. And also, since it's a common, the common's trophy size is 20 kilos instead of 28 kilos that it would be for black carp or a grass carp. This gives us a bigger chance at actually catching a trophy. I'm pulling in the fish like extremely slowly, not doing too much to it, but I'm still pulling in a bit. And it's also taking some line every now and then if it wants to, just like right now. And we have something nibbling on the second rod as well again. Hopefully it's not going to be a trophy on that rod as well. I would never want that. 2 trophies? No way. Okay, it seems like the fish woke up. It's just going wherever it wants to go. Even on this setup, the caliber reel, we have the Fortuna carp rod. We have a very strong leader. We have a strong braid on this. And the fish is still taking a line like there's no tomorrow. It's just moving like crazy. And I guess something very decent is also on the second rod because it's also pulling some on my line. I have to make sure that I drink my tea or coffee to keep up the energy. Currently I'm drinking coffee. It's a bit better than tea as I've heard, and by the looks of it, it works wonders. So I'm just drinking coffee to keep my energy up, to not lose the fish. It would be pretty sad if this fish actually gets off the hook. I've been fighting with it for quite some time now and I really want to see what it is, because if you lose out on a potential trophy, that's the saddest moment ever. I'm making the fish go towards the bridge by actually holding my rod to the right side, so it wants to go and swim to the opposite side because I don't don't want it to go too far right because it could go behind the island or just to the open water, and then I have to walk around the lake to actually get to the fish, and I might run out of line, or I might just get stuck behind somewhere with the fish, like behind the island, and that would be a disaster. Oh, somebody caught a Chinese sleeper trophy. Hopefully my trophy will be a bit bigger than just 400 grams. Well, it should be at least. This fish is so close. It's also morning time, so I can see a bit better. It's just behind the reeds over there, and I really want to see it. Just please, fish, show yourself. Let me identify who you are. Are you a crash carp? Are you a common carp? Even though I'm positive like 99% it is a common carp just by the fight, I still need a visual confirmation. Thankfully it's not spooling me anymore, so I'm just slowly pulling it in because my setup is not too strong to just drag it in right away, and I don't want to put my friction brake to 30 because I actually might break my setup. And we have fish on the other two rods as well. They're just going nuts. It's actually making my brain go crazy, and probably when I go to sleep today I will hear that sound even in my sleep. Well, okay, that fish just woke up. It's just going to the left side. I don't know why. Come to the surface, buddy. You're so close. I think I saw something. It's a common, I think. Yeah, it has to be a common. It is a common carp. I've never caught a common carp that big. Just by the looks of it right now, I'm pretty sure this is a trophy. This thing looks actually huge. It looks massive. It's not as big as the mirror carp I caught on Amber Lake, but this looks humongous. Come on. It has to be a trophy. There's no way this is not a trophy fish. Just look at this. Oh, I don't even want to net it. I just want to look at it for now. But we should net it just in case it might get off. And here we go. We caught our common carp trophy on Old Burg Lake. This fish is weighing in at 22.6 kilos, which is actually 2.6 kilos over the trophy size. Amazing. Good EXP, and we have caught our next trophy on Old Burg Lake. 12 kilo crash carp on the other rod. Very nice. And a 4 kilo crash carp. Now it's time to go and sell all of our fish. Unfortunately, there's no good cafe orders, but we can fill in the common carp cafe order if you want to with our common carp trophy, which we do not want to. So let's sell our last keep net right now on Old Burg Lake for 323 silver. This is very nice. All of these fish are worth so much money, and especially the common carp trophy. I'm very happy about this. As you can see, I stayed here no more than like half an hour and we caught our trophy this time. Some hours are very good and some hours are slow, but this hour was an absolute blast. Now let's go and check our trophy log. This was also our 24th unique trophy on the account, which is very nice to see. And as you can see, on this Old Burg Lake collection, we have our common carp mapped out. If you guys like this video, you also might like this one. Take care. Bye bye.